So I just got back from. I'm driving over Pinkham Notch on the way back from Berlin. I just spent probably 20 minutes, half an hour talking with Barry Kelly from White Mountain Lumber, who's a prominent citizen, I guess you would say, in Berlin. And we were talking about Laidlaw and wood and all that sort of stuff, and the community field parking issue, that sort of thing. And we got onto... Hang on, I turn up the heat. We got onto talking about the city seal. And he is of the opinion that it's against the city's history and that sort of thing to change the seal, which I don't necessarily agree with, but I also am not from Berlin, so my opinion about what it does to the city's history doesn't really apply. I hit the pass button, the upshift on my gear shifter, because the camera's on my gear shifter. My opinion about the city history and the city future doesn't really apply, because I don't know what's going to offend people in Berlin and what part of their history is more important and what part isn't. But the point that he made that I thought was really interesting and pretty valuable, pretty interesting, pretty spot on is when it comes to a perspective, a view of the city from the outside. Who cares about the seal? Who looks at the seal? Do you know what the city seal looks like for the city of Boston? Do you know what it looks like for Concord? Do you know what it looks like for Portland, Maine, New York City, Bar Harbor, Nantucket, Conway? Being a tourist destination, what does that have to do with what your city seal looks like? I can't disagree with that. I don't think anyone has any idea what the city seal looks like in just about any community. And if you do, least of all tourists, if the argument is to change Berlin's image, the city seal is a very small part of that image, he was saying. And I guess I can see that. I also understand Councillor Poulin's perspective that on every document that gets sent down to Berlin or down to Concord that says the city's trying to remake itself, it's trying to redo its image, but it has the same old city seal. That's tough, but that's going to Concord. That's not going... I really wonder how much Concord has to do with the overall perception, the regional, the state perception, the region's perception, a national perception, according to people from Berlin, because they say that everywhere they go, they run into people who know Berlin. Does the city seal matter? I'd be interested to find out what people think about that. What community, what city that you visit, what town that you visit, can you honestly describe what the seal looks like? How much does that affect your decision as to, or your impression of that community? And I think that's a viable criticism of this initiative. But I'm interested to hear what anybody else thinks about the city seal. Do they, from a tourist standpoint, does it really matter? Is it worth the amount that people are getting fired up about it? So please, let me know what you think. I'd appreciate it. Thanks a lot.